I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channels studios and iHeart Media, and a worldwide broadcast from yorbamedia.com. All right, first guest on the show today, David Saba, President, Siblings Group Holdings. This is the future of education going through to the 21st century. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, my pleasure. Let's start off with a little background on you so you can get the audience introduced to yourself. And then if we could, I'd like to get into the education, what Siblings Group does, and also let everybody know that you're a publicly traded stock too, right?
Yes, we are, under the symbol SIBE, S-I-B-E.
Okay. You are taking our children, I think you said kindergarten through 12, right, into the the 21st century of education, right?
Yes, we're starting with that. Our first acquisition was a group called Blended Schools Network, which is this outstanding online resource for teachers, not just in this country, but worldwide, that provide the curriculum to help those kids accelerate, to get caught up, to help them really succeed in school. And that's what we've decided that's the first avenue that we wanted to pursue to really get this company going. Let's
get a little background on you, because you've got a deep and a rich history in this sector, and we really rarely get to delve into the building blocks, the basis of where we can build as a society, to educate the children so that we can actually bring the level of education in this country up.
Yeah, because you can't get anywhere without a great education, and countries have always relied on education to raise their populace up. And I started in education with Kaplan Test Prep back about 15 years ago, and that's one of the greatest companies to really learn the education business from the inside out. They let you just run this company, and you realize how, if you have a high-quality product and you really help people achieve their goals, you can really build a great company that's going to succeed long-term. And so that was what we set out to do. And from there, I ran a couple of nonprofits that were focused on helping get the right teachers in front of the right kids. There's a teacher shortage in the country. It's hard to find math and science teachers, and I was able to do that and turn that around and get that new program accepted in multiple states. And then recently I was working on training our teachers to be better in the classroom. Most of these teachers take this on, they want to do better, but we tend not to give them the resources to actually succeed with the students and with this changing environment, both technology-wise and the needs of our students.
Now you're changing that around with Siblings. Tell us what Siblings does that sets them apart. That I got to admit, I don't know too many publicly traded education companies. I mean, this is good stuff.
Yeah, it's fairly unique, and it's a huge market. I mean, it's a $1.4 trillion market worldwide, and it's $26 billion here in the United States. And Sibling is looking to discover, develop, and deliver resources to expand and improve not just K through 12 learning, but lifelong learning. We want to tackle early childhood. We're going to help people in their careers. We're going to look at the post-secondary market. It's a truly unique time in all of these different areas to leverage technology to bring better content so that people can really truly achieve their goals. And at the same time, high-quality content always builds demand for those products, and those products will succeed in the marketplace.
Now, a minute ago, you mentioned putting the right teachers with the right students and then empowering them, giving them the right tools. Let's dive into that.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's first time. It's getting that right teacher. So right now, Blended Schools Network just opened up their physics and chemistry program online, and so many rural schools don't have a physics teacher or don't have a chemistry teacher. So those kids cannot go into engineering. Physics is the gateway to get into an engineering career. We have a shortage of engineers, and yet here we are locking out all of these students worldwide. We now offer physics and chemistry online to those students, and we have 100 students that signed up in the first month of offering this program. So that's all about getting that right teacher with the right content in front of more students, and technology gives you the way to make sure that can happen. And our school system is one of the slowest to really adopt technology.
Why?
I think it's both culturally. Teachers were at first did not want to really embrace technology, and at the same time there was the cost factor. As the cost has come down and you've got more and more new teachers coming in, they're not just embracing it, but they're demanding it. They want to have tablets. They want to have great online resources for their students. And you've got students with varying degrees of ability in a classroom, much more so than you and I when we were in school. And those teachers have to serve all those students. Online resources bring the right content to the right student at the right time. And Blended Schools has some of the best content I've ever seen.
All right, let's get that term out and describe it just a little better. Blended schools. What does that mean to the audience?
Blended schools, thank you for asking that, because we talk a little inside baseball every once in a while. Blended Schools, first off, is the name of the company that we acquired. They're called Blended Schools Network because they were one of the first to adopt this in 2002. They built out one of the first online programs in the country, and that's who Sibling's first acquisition was this great, rich content. Blended schools means that you're using online content as well as in the class content. So the teacher is teaching. She's putting the students into group projects. He is helping those students and coaching them. But then she's assigning online content that the student can do after school, during school, to augment what they're doing, to further challenge the students or help those students catch up.
Now, on your website, I see the outlook for investment in education in the future. Let's talk about what Siblings does, Blended Schools does to implement, your policies, but to be able to bring these tools to the students and the teachers and take us into the next level of learning, something that's more efficient. Critical thinking gets involved and things of that nature, so that what you're doing helps enable these, the future leaders of our country get to the point where they're actually at top competition level on a worldwide basis.
It starts with a great team. And you asked why there wasn't more technology in schools earlier. Right. Part of that problem is companies have a hard time competing in this market. To get into a K-12 school is not easy. To bring your products to market and succeed with those products takes really, really solid execution. So we built a team of amazing people that from varying backgrounds in education that really, truly excel at executing on a level. So that's the first step. You have great products. There's a lot of great products out there. You have to actually get them in the hands of students. That's what we've started to do, and that's how the market really works. You got to get them in there. You have to have a high-quality product. Teachers will start using them, word of mouth starts spreading, and then you're able to move further and further and increase the number of students and teachers using that product.
Tell me about the team. Let's dive into that, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. The team that you put in place to take what we're doing now into the next level of learning.
Well, our CEO is Maureen Finley, who's got 30 years experience in higher education, startups, mergers, acquisitions, strategic alliances, and she built a couple of great programs already. She's got an incredible financial background as well as a thorough understanding of the public markets. Myself, I came on, and we've already said I actually started out in the Navy, served, became a pilot after going to the Naval Academy, and then got into education and built a couple of different startups now, and have come into Sibling over the last 10 months. Richard Marshall is our Chief Development Officer, massive experience in the public markets and helping companies take their story out into those markets so that people can understand and invest in those stories. And then Jed Friedrichsen, who's the CAO, or the Chief Academic Officer, he was the founder of the first online school in Nebraska. He's the one that really started Blended Schools Network and has joined our team through that acquisition. And then Angel Judas is our CFO, incredible experience, CPA. She's the one keeping the books. And together, we have very different experience base. But when we come together and start to look at this, you can really see the synergy develop, that this is going to be an amazing team that's going to really execute on a whole new level.
I get the feeling from the C-suite executives you just mentioned that there is also opportunity to take a very sophisticated financial sector, investment banking, because that's what these people are doing. You've mentioned several of them. They've got history in capital formation. They've got history in how to take a concept into a cash flow position, and then ultimately, as anybody would want to, some sort of an exit strategy. That I've seen over and over and over again does not get touched on until you get into much higher education levels. So are you saying that you might be able to take some of these basic concepts of commerce that our whole economic system worldwide is built on, and be able to bring those out into the younger people and teach them about commerce?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, technology and worldwide. You've got, as we've started to look at other acquisitions to bring into Sibling Group Holdings, some of those that we've looked at are what we're seeing, and you're using your tablet here in the studio. They can't afford to build schools everywhere. So they're bringing tablets in place of building schools. Those tablets can now be that channel to help people break out of poverty by teaching them basic commerce, by teaching them basic things about money, about entrepreneurship, about technology, that suddenly these emerging countries are going to be able to thrive by not building schools, but by using technology and tablets.
Okay, so I'm getting the feeling that that education going into the 21st and the next millennia, if you will, is going to take a big change here, and you're in the forefront of making that change happen. Where do you see education going from putting good teams together, but how students learn in the future?
It's going to be all about personalized learning. It's going to be finally leveraging and using technology to give each student what they need when they need it. Instead of sitting in a class of 30 in rows with a teacher up front, which is the way it's been for the last 100 years, right. These students are going to be studying what they need when they need it. It's going to be much more skill-based so that you get the skills you need to succeed in whatever area you decide to pursue, instead of just taking this rote curriculum going, step by step by step. But it's going to be all about the individual and bringing that education to them wherever they are, however you can afford to do it. And it's going to be much more global. There are going to be students right now in many countries, you can only get education through 8th grade. There is a huge number of students that are suddenly going to be studying and having access to education as that price point comes down, driven by disruptions like technology, and at the same time that quality goes up and the ability to reach all students helps. And that's really what we're pursuing, and that's why we're in this business.
It seems to me that there's also going to be a quicker red flag, if you will, for learning disabilities, being able to find them quicker through technology that you're putting into the classroom. Are you working on addressing that too?
We are. One of the products we just launched is a special education product called Inclusion, and it's training teachers on not just how to identify, but really how to help those students, because inclusion is all about bringing those students into all classrooms. This helps that teacher work with that. There are tons of technology applications that are being developed right now that help teachers identify students and give those students the right exercise for whatever learning disability they have. It can help them get over that. So we are looking for applications that would help us do that.
Well, I can see that there's a huge market. I think you mentioned earlier, let me double check that like 48 million students, what did you say, 98,000 800 schools, and it's a huge industry, $563 billion, over $1.4 trillion worldwide. I'm glad that you're doing that. Let's do this. Let's take a little break here. But before we go, please, I want contact information. We'll get into the investment side of Siblings Group Holdings on the other break. But before we go, please, stock symbol and contact information.
The stock symbol is SIBE, S-I-B as in boy, E. Our website is www.siblinggroup.com, and our phone numbers are listed there as well. But we'd love to have you go on, take a look, and let us know what you think.
All right, we'll be right back on the other side of this break with David Saba, President, Siblings Group Holdings, SIBE, siblingsgroup.com. And special thanks to 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back.